Good evening, my lovelies. Welcome to Insomniac. I am Miss Red. Yes, lovely, lovely day. And yeah, as typical day goes in motherhood, my days are usually from about 6 a.m. till 11:30 p.m., if not longer. So yeah, this is kind of a typical day look for me, isn't it? Gorgeous. Yeah, so hot. I know. Yeah. So, yes, tonight's episode is weird, creepy, and strange facts about motherhood. Ah, goodness. So, a little bit of history. For the longest time, throughout Mesopotamia and all of those times, mothers were actually worshipped and honored as goddesses. And as society started to actually come into fruition and stability more, especially when the Roman empires and the Persian and Babylonian empires fell and the Romans rose, in came the patriarchy. And back down to our humble roots we go. So, we're going to start off with number one. Number one, as of 2016, the average annual salary you would have to pay a mother to compensate for her tasks that she performs for just one child is $63,985. And that was back in 2016. Think about it. Think about all the shit that a mother does in her day for her kids. She is a secretary. She's a therapist. She's a guidance counselor. She is a cook, a dishwasher, a laundress, a housekeeper, an accountant. I mean, a nurse. The list goes on and on and on. And so almost 64 grand back in 2016 to raise one child in a year. Yeah. So I guess that's a weird, creepy, and strange fact because of the weird, creepy, and strange facts that are going to come after this. That kind of gives you a good idea how historically and even today we treat our moms. Number two, the youngest mother in history. Okay, this is weird, creepy, and strange to the nth degree. Okay, the youngest mother in history was Lena Medina, and she lived in Peru. She gave birth May 1939. Guess how old she was? She was 5 years, 7 months, and 21 days old. That is the youngest mother in history, okay? And that is weird, creepy, and strange in so many ways because of so many things that I just don't want to get into, because if I do, I'm going to get angry all over again, just like when I found this fact. On the other end of the spectrum, the oldest mother in history, Ankari Penwar, okay? 72 years old. And she had twins. And she was ostracized for the fact that she was a great-grandma and conceived twins at 72 years old, even though it was still her duty as a lady of that particular time, because this was also in the 1930s. And it was still a big thing of the lady of the house to serve her husband in any way he deemed necessary. So she was still pursuing her maternal duty at that particular point, but because of her age, she was ostracized from her village. So yeah. Number two. Cheers. Number three, microchimerism. Some cells from the fetus stay with the mother after the child is born and everything. Some of the fetal cells still stay with the mom. and actually enter into the mother's brain. Now, they're not sure if this is beneficial or harmful to mom. They're still doing studies about this. But yeah, so that technically it makes every mother on the planet a chimera, which makes us a mutant and a quote unquote mythical creature. So yeah, go moms, we're X-Men. Number 4, postpartum psychosis. PPP, or postpartum disorder, or PTSD, because yes, you can have PTSD from childbirth and the process that happens to you after. It is a manic depressive state caused by extreme body fluctuations, hormone changes, and life alterations. Quite similar to extreme cases of PTSD from soldiers that have been prisoners of war. These particular disorders have caused moms to commit suicide, to murder their children and their family members. It is a disorder often overlooked by society and physicians alike, even though it has been medically proven to be 150% a thing. So yeah, obviously that's a weird, creepy, and strange thing, because this is something that a mother's body does without her ever asking it to, just because she became pregnant. And yeah, I mean, there are countless articles that you can look up of mothers going completely batshit off the rocker and like drowning or suffocating their newborn, or killing their husband, or killing one of the other children in the house, their mom, their dad, their neighbor, their whatever. And it's all because their pheromones and their body and their life has done a complete, 180 on them, and they can't handle it. It has literally turned them insane. Number 5, cases of homicide by women have been won. In fact, it is the most common way that people win cases of homicide. And it's due to temporary insanity caused by periods, menstruation, PPP, PPD, PTSD, and menopause. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, hey, that's not fair, oh, so she went all hormonal and now she gets to get off because of this. Well, yes, but the other creepy, weird, strange fact about this is that a lot of countries, that if they do honor the insanity plea and they do put the woman into a mental hospital, that woman's almost hell-bent to be guaranteed to be a guinea pig for the rest of her life, involuntarily. So, yeah. And there are a lot of things that happen even today to mental health patients in mental health hospitals that just should never happen to anybody. So, yeah, it's sure, she's not going to go to prison, but she's probably going to be psychologically, chemically, and emotionally tortured for the rest of her life. So, which one's worse? Number 6, 15 million girls under the age of 18 are married and become mothers. Yeah. In a year. So that's the equivalent of 28 girls every minute that are being married off, and they're not even 18 years of age. Every single minute. So, because there are still tons and tons of cultures where arranged marriages are very, very common. And, of course, with human trafficking and the abduction problem, this, that, and the other, that also, young youngsters being abducted and shipped somewhere else to be child brides is not uncommon. So, because once they're married, the laws as far as bringing them back to their home country becomes extremely complicated. So, yeah, weird, creepy, and strange the whole way around. Number 7, 1 in 4 women, 1 in 4, 25%, 1 in 4, are victims of sexual violence during pregnancy. Okay. That's not including physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, or anything like that. That is sexual abuse. That is their partner advancing on them or abusing their womanly parts while they are pregnant. 1 in 4 women. Okay? And there's approximately 4 billion women on the planet. So that means 1 billion women. That's nuts. Number 8, 128 mothers are killed by their partners and or another family member every single day. Okay. You see what I was saying about how we treat our mothers? It's like these are the people that give us life. And at one point in history, mothers were worshipped as goddesses that gave us birth, gave us life, sacrifice because the female body changes entirely from the fetus, and thusly the partner that she partnered with to make the child's DNA. These 2 individuals' DNA are now in her system forever, which means that her whole entire body, person, and lineage for eons to come, her mitochondria has been altered. And this is how we treat these individuals that make such a big friggin' sacrifice to us, for us, so we all can be here participating in this. Number 9, trauma and abuse committed against a mother, especially while she is pregnant, has a 46% chance of being inherited by their children as a recurring phobia or a psychological disorder. So moms that experience some sort of trauma and abuse, especially while they're knocked up with their kid inherits that. 46%. That's pretty much you might as well play Russian roulette as to whether that child is going to have some sort of trauma or phobia that they're going to have to work through for the rest of their lives that they can't even explain, all because their mother was abused. It's like, people don't realize how important it is to respect their partners and respect themselves until you start looking through statistics like this and realize the repercussions of your choices. Number 10, most mammal moms carry kids on their left side. So it's a little bit of a lighter one. Yeah. I didn't want all of them to be doom and gloom and really, really messed up. So yeah, this one is pretty interesting. So the concept is that, a mom, whether it's, even spiders, ironically, will carry their brood more towards the left side. Why? Because in nature, the part of the anatomy for most higher functioning creatures, the right brain, the right side of the brain is what controls things like communication and physical motor skills that have to do with physical interaction with other creatures and so on and so forth. So most of them will, like most women will carry the child on their left hip and everything. Bears will kind of have their cubs kind of over the left shoulder more, that sort of thing. Same thing with monkeys. They'll have their young kind of strapped on their back like a backpack, and it'll be slung more towards the left side of them. So yeah, thought that was kind of weird. And the fact that it's true for so many creatures, it's like, wow, crazy coincidence. Number 11. Okay. This was actually, it's funny, but it's not, okay? The first article where I read this particular fact, and I had to kind of laugh because it was like only in the UK, and then I started reading more articles and realizing, oh, this isn't just the UK. So number 11 is mother cows kill more people than any other domesticated farm animal. Okay. That's crazy. And I'm like, okay, well, what about, like the running of the bulls and bullfights and stuff like that? And goats can be pretty nasty and cantankerous. And you know how they say about, the serial killers with the pig farm and all that sort of thing. But no, as far as people being attacked by farm animals and being killed by said farm animals, more people die from cow attacks than any other domesticated animal. In fact, there are more people that die from cow attacks. There's 3 times more people that die from cow attacks in a year than shark attacks, you guys. And so, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but I do, because it was like, oh my goodness. I think of a cow. I think, because I grew up on farmland, I think of these docile creatures and everything that, they have best friends. They sit there and moo, and they eat grass all day. You can walk up and pet them, and if they don't like it, all they're gonna do is like sidestep away from you. These are cows, in my experience. So to hear that mothers that are trying to protect themselves when they're going through the hormones of pregnancy, and mothers that are trying to protect their calves are the biggest domestic animal killers. It's like, wow, that's wild. I just, yeah. So yeah, cows, who knew? Number 12, many mothers in the insect world become a snack. Okay. There are many, many different species of spider. Praying mantises do this sometimes. Lots of different insects. And I'm not sure if the octopus does this, if certain species of octopi, even though they're not insects. I believe they're actually cephalopods. But yeah, they actually become the snack. So their kids are born, and either the kids eat them trying to come out of the womb, or shortly after the kids are born, the mother becomes their first meal. And this is actually called matrophagy, mother eating. Yeah, matrophagy. So yeah, and that's weird, creepy, and strange for obvious reasons. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, that's barbaric and horrific. But as I've stated before in a few episodes, we still have the tradition that is alive and well in many different cultures of eating the placenta. And that is technically matrophagy too. In fact, that's almost crazy because that's infantophagy too. It's matrophagy, infantophagy at the same time. If infant eating, infantophagy, and matrophagy, because the placenta is the kind of the blood barrier, the blood and tissue barrier between mom and baby inside of the womb, and people eat that ritualistically. So it's like, yeah, yummy. Anybody still hungry? And the last one, number 13. 40% of women in first world countries are not only the primary caregivers of minor children, they're minor kids, they are also the breadwinners of their household. Single motherhood has been rising since the 1960s, almost 3% per year. Divorce rates raised at least 0.75 per year. And it just, the list goes on and on and on. So a trend since the 60s, since basically the declaration of the true revolution of women's rights, there's become more and more single moms out there that are, will bring home the bacon and fry it in the pan too. And it's just, yeah. So how do I put this? How do I put this in a nice way? Gentlemen, if you don't want to become part of the statistic, pay attention to the statistics that are going on, and perhaps pay attention to what 50% of the population is telling you, so that you don't become part of that statistic. It's the correlation between these particular statistics says that women want respect. Women want respect, and they want to be treated as equals. And that is what that says more than anything else. And they're quite obviously willing to break bonds that for many centuries in our world culture, it was pretty much unheard of to break that bond before death. So, yeah. The age of equals is here. Perhaps it's time to start listening. And those are your 13 facts. Yeah, about motherhood. Yay! So which one did you find the most interesting? Which one did you find the most creepy and strange? And yeah, which one did you find the most depressing? Because unfortunately, yes, this particular list got very, very depressing. I try to find the most weird, creepy, and strange facts that I can. And unfortunately, quite often, those weird, creepy, and strange facts are not just weird, creepy, and strange. They're horrifying, to say the least. Especially when it comes to humans and what they will and will not do to each other and others that we share the planet with. So I do apologize to everybody that has, weak stomachs and weak constitutions, that so often my videos are a lot to stomach. But I mean, this is the truth and the reality we live in. These are the facts. I wish I could say differently, but it is true. So, but yeah. So, and if anybody has been suffering for any of these things, there are awesome and wonderful crisis hotlines that you can call. If you believe that you are a parent that is struggling with any of the things that were mentioned here, please call the crisis hotline. You know, you can Google it. It's a 1-800 number. They're open 24/7. You can talk to them and they will give you advice on where to go for help for any of this crap. So, yeah, because, yeah, mental health is just as important as physical health, if not more. Because honestly, a lot of the reasons why murders and homicides and stuff happen have nothing to do with physical health, or very little to do with it anyway. So, yeah. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, this one was still a rough one. And I will be getting you guys one that's a little more lighthearted here very shortly, because we have come down a really dark detour lately. And while, yes, those might be fascinating facts, I don't know. I'm starting to feel like, yeah, maybe we need to do something a little more lighthearted. So, yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on any sort of more lighthearted topics that you would like to hear from down the rabbit hole of the weird, creepy, and strange, just let us know. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, love to see your faces and have you here. And I will talk to you next time, okay? Bye.